Are you ready to unleash your full potential and become unstoppable in your success and leadership?
Welcome to the Unleashed and Unstoppable podcast, where we provide powerful insights and strategies for coaches, corporate leaders, and entrepreneurs. I'm Alexanne Carter.
And I'm Carol Register, and we're certified master neurocoaches who are passionate about helping you overcome your limiting beliefs and optimize your performance.
Each week, we'll be sharing actionable tips and strategies using neuroscience, from interviews with industry experts to solo episodes, to help you lead a life of power, purpose, and possibility on your own terms.
Join our community of like-minded individuals. Hit subscribe now, and let's be unleashed and unstoppable together. Hello, our beautiful, powerful, high-achieving leaders. We have an amazing guest today who is going to blow your socks off, right? With the things that he is going to be able to bring to you. He is an accomplished industrial designer turned entrepreneur. He's the EY Entrepreneur of the Year nominee. He's worked with Dartmouth. He is an alum of some amazing organizations recognized by the city of Los Angeles, the city of Pasadena, spoken in Congress and the Senate for entrepreneurial and civic efforts, and the founder of Charles & Company, a luxury tea brand. We're really going to talk about his background a little bit and what this entrepreneurial journey looks like, because he's going to share with us about being born in the inner city to a single mother in very difficult circumstances. And as a lifelong entrepreneur, what it's looked like to get to the success level he is at now, because he started his luxury tea brand, which serves royalty, on a mountain bike, selling tea door to door in Los Angeles. And now this brand is in a number of premier restaurants and hotels. And it's exciting to know, too, that being able to speak up in Congress and being able to start whole new ventures such as Teably NXL for athletes who require high mental ability to perform at elite levels. So Lawrence, welcome. I have mixed your name up more than once, and that's my own dyslexia that shows up. But thank you so much for being here. We're super excited to hear from you.
Thank you, ladies. It's a pleasure to be a part of your podcast and your message that you're giving to some amazing women and their plight to be their own boss. I think that's important.
Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? You know, the whole journey of entrepreneurship is so outside of the box to what many of us grew up with, what we were taught that works. You know, it was go and work for somebody else and earn a paycheck. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody gets to carve their own journey. But specifically in entrepreneurship, we are carving the path. Mm-hmm. It's never been done before. So I'd love to hear more about your background and how the way that you grew up has been able to translate to the beautiful success that you're experiencing now and the ways that you're really serving people.
Yeah. Entrepreneurship has been in my blood. So I started my mother just taking me over to like local carnivals and everything. And it was just extra money that she was trying to get as well. And I just remember as a little kid just trying to help the guys set up the local carnival, and then they give me a booth, and I just remember the prize was goldfish. So and it was like the little ping pong thing that would bounce around, and I just remember, what you call carnival barking, and saying, "Come on up," like as a little 12-year-old and whatnot. But even prior to that, just as a kindergartner, selling my toys to other adults because I knew, you know what, this is a pretty good toy. Let me see if I can get a couple of adults in a room with, different sets of kids and watch me
Wow.
have them compete. And I would literally have adults bidding on toys that I didn't want anymore. And
Wow.
that's how a lot of it began in terms of business. And I've sold flowers, just finding like the local flower shop in the neighborhood, and literally opening up their dumpster going, wait, they throw these out? And then realizing that people have to, go into the bank, and they usually come out with money. So I just be the little kid with this big bright
Wow.
smile and some flowers that's labeled $2, $3 for a bunch or one or whatever. And I knew orchids, they just look exotic, so I could probably get a little bit more with these. So that was a little bit more of my background growing up, and I've always found ways to hustle, make money, do business. My upbringing was a little bit different. It's familiar to some, but definitely different to a lot of people, in the spaces that I kind of navigate now.
Yeah.
um, my background, I grew up both parents, struggling with drugs, in and out of prison. And so, there was a lot of self-parenting. So I had to kind of figure
Yeah.
out, the things that was necessary for school, for just keeping my own attention. So I played a lot of sports, just to try to deal with, parents not being there. So I had a great grandmother that kind of raised us. And that was the beginning of how I uh, just started to learn about life.
Mm.
And an amazing mother that, she's doing quite well now,
Yeah.
and father as well. And and I'm, very, very happy, fortunate, and excited. Like my mother, she just received clemency from the governor of Ohio. So her background went back, and to her trying to understand how to even be an adult, and like, and
Yeah.
and having us so young, and everything. And there's challenges in life for her, and a lot of times you got to step back and give your parents grace. So I was able to navigate through all that. I, went to college, just kind of had to figure my way to college, and lived in a homeless shelter while I attended school. And that was me just saying, you know what, this is about the size of a dorm room, no problem. And I'm going to figure this out. Man, I got so much to give to the world. I just
Wow.
know that, man, I'm being taught something here
Wow.
that will enable me to then be able to have some amazing resources when it comes time.
Yeah.
And so I went to school,
Well, I
and
want to
and
pause you
you know
there if it's okay.
yeah.
So it's something very interesting. Your entrepreneurship journey got wired in really early, and over 90% of our limiting beliefs, and also we have positive beliefs, get wired in by the age of 8. So it's super interesting how young you started. And I wanted to know, like, were you at that young age? You mentioned your parents not being available and you having to figure things out on your own and feeling like you had to hustle. And I wanted to know, were you feeling like you had to survive, like you had to do these things? Was that coming in that early, or was there another motivation there? And yeah, I'd love to hear your take on that.
Yeah, early on, it was just more so curiosity, and
Mm.
realizing that, oh, wait a minute, was that possible? Do I supposed to be able to do that? And getting excited about those things. And uh and 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 the early part was realizing how much of it was a gift.
Yeah.
In high school, I was able to negotiate my first contract was with Wall Hair Clipper, and it was $400 an hour,
Yeah.
and they flew me in, and yeah, it was pretty crazy. And it was all through competition in the city. I cut hair, and there was a number of local barbers that said, "Hey, we're better than you," and I just said, "There's no way." And so I just said, "I'll figure out how to beat them on a grand scale." And that's where I started to understand what PR was, because what I did was I used my network, my resources,
Yeah.
and I was able to through my network. And these are people that mentored me. It was the chief city editor and managing editor of the newspaper, and they said, "Man, what you're doing is pretty crazy. You could draw pictures in the back of your own head. That's crazy." So I
Yeah.
talked him into writing a story on me, and so I had a big bright smile as this little kid, but I was a savage because I knew that, man, if this article runs, I'm shutting the city down, and that was just in my own little high school world of
Yeah.
who I thought that they were better than me at cutting hair.
Right.
So
Where'd the
I'm
confidence
just going to
come
do.
from? Where, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
I,
have
I know
no
you said
idea.
you played a lot of sports. Was it the
Uh-huh.
coaches was it your great grandmother that was feeding into you? Like, yeah,
Yeah, like the drive, right? That drive and passion and confidence, the courage, like the curiosity and the curiosity you talked about. But like where, like a lot of
yeah.
times, it's something that we will see a remodel. So yeah, very curious of where that came from for you.
You know what? It's really interesting because I think there are, like with a lot of us, there's breadcrumbs that, if we just listen to ourselves, we could find, our passion and also what we're
Mm,
curious about and
Yeah,
what we're excited about, or
yeah.
what we're destined to become or do. And sometimes it's for a season, but a lot of times it's for a lifetime.
Mm,
And there's a lot of different things that will prevent you, a lot of noise
yeah.
that
hmm
will prevent you from hearing or seeing those breadcrumbs. And in my particular case, um, I had a desire to to break records. I mean, I swam, and I just remember I went out for basketball because all my friends did, because I'm tall too. And I went out for basketball, and I just remember I said, "All right, if the coach screams at me one more time, I'm definitely walking out this door. I'm going to join the swim team," because it was during the same season. And it was just an excuse because I wanted to go out for swimming because I didn't see too many black people that swam. And I just said,
mm.
this makes no sense. It makes zero sense. And I didn't think about why. I just thought,
Yeah.
why not? And so I went out for swimming, and I pretty much almost drowned my first couple weeks. And I thought swimming in a local pool where you throw your head side to side and you just flail your arms and you move like an inch a minute. I thought that was swimming, and I was wrong, because we were swimming like miles a day or whatnot,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and
Wow.
I learned how to swim, and I was able to break over 20 records.
Yeah.
And that
Congratulations.
was Thank you. But that was challenging myself. I didn't have any indication that I would be great at it. I just believed I would.
Yeah,
Mm,
And a lot of times, I think you know people go by what the rules are. And for me, I had a natural tendency to say, why are those rules that way?
mm.
And so for
yeah.
me, I just, I would always question, like
The questions are
this.
so
Yeah.
powerful, right? The quality of
Well,
our
Oh,
life is dependent on the quality of our questions and asking why. I heard Elon Musk say that's what he did when he didn't do that well in school and he went to read books on rocket science and his the way he learned was asking why.
well,
Why? So
and
so powerful.
Lawrence, I heard
Yeah.
you say you well, and it goes with the why, and you said earlier, like, well, why not? Right? Like questioning
Yeah.
in terms of like, well, why not? Right? There's a
Yeah.
lot of
Mhm.
times the default of like all the reasons why we can't, but your question, you had it in your subconscious to ask the question, but why not? And that's
Yeah.
so powerful because
Mhm.
when you change, again, going what Carol said, right? The quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. Because when you change the way you ask the question, you're going to be open up, and that curiosity really led into. But it's so powerful. Like your conviction, your confidence, everything inside of you. It's so fascinating to see that one, it happened at such a young age, and it really truly has followed you through to where you are today. But it's that power of just leading with the
The
why
question.
is it this way, and of course, well, why not, like you totally challenging the status quo, which is so powerful, right? Like
Yeah.
questioning the rules and being like, yeah, that like just feeling that inside of you to create that. I'm curious though, because you did share this earlier that you are 6 feet, 6 feet 5 inches, right? Like
6'5", yeah.
6'5".
Uh-huh.
So do you find that your height might have helped a little bit? I ask because I know I'm very short. Carol's very short too. We're very short people, right? And so it's like when you're a short person, you really get to carry yourself very differently to show up very confidently, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't have the size on your side, right? But for yourself, the size on your side there. I'm curious if that at all may have contributed, or if you notice that if that people interacted with you differently, or anything based on that because of just how you carry yourself and with your height.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I hadn't found that.
Okay.
I think I think when there aren't anyone per se that will take a little kid and just say, "Hey, like you're pretty good because of this," or this matters in the world to most people because of this, or not
Yeah.
necessarily saying why you're great or why you're anything, but
Yeah.
just to kind of give definition of things. I think
Mm,
that's so important, like for kids,
Yeah.
is to teach the reason why behind
Yeah.
a lot
mm,
of different things. For me, I just remember sprouting like a like beanstalk, and like I left all my buddies behind. So I'm a foot taller going, oh God. Like, but I just want to be amongst the crowd. Like I
mm,
wanted no parts of it because
Mhm.
I was just this lanky kid that, and then I wrestled too in eighth grade. And by ninth grade, I went, man, well, I guess this is my last year wrestling because I'm just an easy target. So that I mean, wrestling it's all
Yeah.
about takedowns, and your legs are just the target. So,
Yeah.
but I didn't think about how good I could be because of in
mm.
that manner. So in terms of height, no, I didn't feel as though that just paved my way any differently.
I feel like you bring up an
Yeah.
important point too. As kids, we are constantly being bombarded all our lives with getting external validation, external approval. How do I look? How am I presenting myself? The perfectionism that comes in there.
Mm,
And children have, and despite this, have an innate sense that that's not what matters. That's
mhm,
not
Mhm.
what's important, that it really is our internal approval. It is our internal believing in ourselves. And I think you illustrate that in,
Mhm.
what you were experiencing and the way you were applying it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's just something that I think is a natural progression of understanding. Sometimes I think sometimes that affects some people when they don't understand certain things. But I think self-esteem is like you said, it's just something that's internal. And the challenge is you can be an extreme, like say, extremely beautiful woman that self-esteem is just all over the place.
Yeah.
And you would see like, why would she even do that? Like, but you don't understand that self-esteem is a little bit different. And um,
Yeah.
those are the challenges that we all face. And a lot of that is built into us early. A lot of that is built into us early.
Yeah, and likewise is true also. You'd see somebody who maybe as far as what the voices and the messages were given about beauty or success or the way we look and appear, and there are people who fall outside of those dictated parameters who are wildly successful because the confidence is there and the purpose in what they're doing and why they're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's certain people that you're like, there's no way on God's green earth they should have the confidence that they have, but like they think they run this place or something. I mean, it could be a lot of different, things and
Yeah.
a lot of different ways that those things come up. And I was talking with another friend about uh um um just just the whole chaos like in the world right now,
Yeah.
and some of the ways in which um certain people are being rewarded, and
Mm.
and I mean, th there are folks that believe in themselves that you wish they didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. But there are great examples. I mean, I can think of, you know, celebrities who, or like the basketball player Spud Webb, who was 5 foot, right? And yet went to the NBA and excelled there.
Yeah.
Somebody like George Alexander and Friends, who was not your traditional leading man material, but became a leading man. Danny DeVito,
Hmm.
the and his wife that went outside of what society would be dictating and said, "Oh, hell no, I'm confident. I'm going to lead. I'm going to tell my stories and do my thing." And so you're what happened to you coming from, a single mom in
Hmm.
a poverty-ridden area of Ohio with your parents on drugs, and yet being where you are now, where you build brands, you are you know, in high vibe communities, and not saying everybody is high vibe, that's not what I mean, but you understand you're in the energy and working with people, entrepreneurs who are successful as you build your own success and have
Hmm.
built your own success. Talk to us about speaking to Congress and what that looked like and what you spoke about.
Yeah. Well, so I would first off, so I was recognized by Congress. Didn't quite speak to them. Although I do have some friends that are uh, connected in some great ways. So I definitely want to slow you down there.
Okay.
I have yet to speak to Congress. Um, you know, so in terms of like some like in terms of like politically or whatnot, I can say that I did one better where a friend of mine, she was Barack Obama's uh publicist for the 8 years that he was in office. She invited me along with some other folks that were all a part of the White House to speak to her uh, son's grade school. And I thought that was pretty awesome. So I was the entrepreneur, and there were these really amazing folks that were responsible for some of the most important things in terms of safety and media and press or whatever within the White House. And I thought that was pretty awesome that here it is. I'm man, I'm the guy that like, man, I started my mountain bike. Like, what? how did I get here? Like, so I thought that was pretty awesome. And I think those things are much more important. Having those opportunities to be able to speak to schools, and in fact, I just spoken to uh, a really amazing high school over in Santa Ana area, uh, and just getting the letters back from the kids that you touched. And my whole objective in speaking to kids is to let them know that there's actually a framework to go from poverty
Mm,
to success, and to go, and
yeah,
to go to wealth.
yeah,
Um, and I just try to speak on, the points of that framework,
yeah,
and tell people about my story, and take it from there.
yeah,
So what would you say the framework is like for the listener today, right? Who wants, like who's not in the audience of the high schools that you're speaking to? Like, I'm curious to know
yeah,
what are some of those components that really has supported you to keep you focused on the vision and inspiring our next generation.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. For one, networking is
Mm.
absolutely critical, and that was something that I learned dancing with a girl that she went to Harvard Business School, and I was asking a bunch of questions because academia kicked me in the rear end, and told me, we don't want you. And so I admired anyone that went to like an Ivy League school and that was really smart, well equipped, academically. And so I was talking to her, and so I'm like, tell me about, like, what do you guys learn? Like, Harvard Business School, that's crazy. And so she goes, well, we get credit for schmoozing. And what? Like, what's schmoozing? And so she explained it to me, and it just blew my mind that she got credit for going out having drinks. And I couldn't figure that out to save my life. Uh, until I just said, you know what, let me just apply that
Mhm.
here, because when you look at the map, and we're in Southern California here, well, it's the largest congregation of the Forbes richest. And so that means that if you meet one person, that interconnection into the city and to everything that matters, starts to fan out.
Hmm.
And that's the one key thing is networking, because and I like to give a description, or a story about my little brother, and how because he's right behind me, so he was in need of an internship, and you know and he's getting his master's at Kent State, for architecture. But his
Congratulations.
summer, yeah, yeah. So his summer right before, he needed to apply for an internship or whatnot. But because of these meetings, these breakfast meetings, these network things, that I'm just showing up, and man, yeah, I have a tea company. You're a banker, you're a director over at here, you're like, some amazing people, amazing CEOs, pretty powerful folks. And just through that, I knew the director over at Gensler, and I reached out to him and I said, hey, my brother is looking for an internship. And he said, send me his information. It goes to the top of the stack.
Yeah,
And Gensler is, an architectural firm that, I mean, if you get in as an intern, like, man, it's almost like the lottery, because they're, the top firm, I would imagine globally.
yeah.
But yeah, next thing you know, he's in Newport Beach hanging out with me, and I'm like,
Nice.
oh, that's power. That's
Yeah,
what that means.
yeah,
And that was something that I just took note.
yeah,
That's power,
yeah,
when you're able to make a phone call, email, or
yeah,
someone makes a connection for you, or
Well,
your colleagues, maybe you're sitting on the board and they say, hey, we got this opportunity for you. It's perfect for you. And they might package it up and your net worth might change. And it's just like you just happen to be there, you
yeah,
know. So those are things that, are really powerful. And
yeah,
it's challenging because a lot of times people they want to be within their own bubble, their own circles, or they feel as though they got to change who they are to be a certain I'm and I just try to let people know, listen, it doesn't matter what culture you come from. No one talks the same at work as they do at home. So it does not matter where you come from. And, and just recognize that, um, you know, being connected is a great thing because
yeah,
I mean, you know, always having a friend that you can call. Like for instance, um, I just started water skiing and I started sailing. Uh, and a good example is an advisor said, Lawrence, you should learn how to sail. I'm like, yeah, that's good advice. I would love to, and I'm the guy that I would jump out of a plane. I drive down Loya, and hang glide or something like that.
yeah.
Like I'm that dude. And so, but when he said that, I just asked him why, and he goes, "Well, you know, just being a CEO, being having your own business, it requires that you're constantly raising capital. You got to be around money and things of that nature. So people that have like boats, that like yachts and things of that nature, um, have particular amount of money. So it's important that you learn how to sail, and so you can get invited into the yacht club and whatever. I'm like, I don't know about all that, but sailing sounds great, and so, but at any rate, I took his advice. I listened. You know, another part of that framework is it having mentors.
Mm, yeah.
The
So I
connections and the
listened.
mentors are so powerful and important. You
Hmm.
also touched on something else in that framework that I think we should highlight because Alex, Leanne, and I talk about it all the time, and that's identity.
Hmm.
When you have that, you know who you are and you know your value, then you do walk with that confidence that comes from that internal approval of yourself. And with connections, I'm pretty sure um, on movie reviews and more with Brian Sebastian. Shout out Brian. Alex and I had
Yeah.
him on our show last year, and um, if I recall, when you were on the show, you were at some pretty cool Oscar parties. You were at a really cool Oscar party. And so it just leans into more of that ongoing networking and connections that you're doing, that you're making. And one of the ways that your brand has elevated, if I understand, is because you have made these connections and they're excited about what you're doing and they're willing to promote what you're doing. And that's where, the unexpected wealth comes in. It arrives in expected and unexpected ways. And, somebody can have a call and say, hey, I'd really like to put your tea brand into Charles and Company, into, I hope, correct me if I'm saying that, uh, um, into our hotel or into our retreat center or into whatever may be happening that can exponentially increase your abundance on the path. So, in speaking in the context of wealth building, the frameworks for wealth building.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And to finish that last point, so we were talking about mentors, we were talking about
Yeah.
networking and and connections. And so when I said I started sailing, uh I didn't know the first, so I called, like I found a school in Newport Beach, and I was like, oh, so I'll take classes. And so I'm talking to a friend of mine, uh, my buddy Ryan. He happens to run entrepreneurship over at UC Irvine, and so I'm talking to him, and I go, yeah, I'm gonna learn how to sail, and I found this school, and he goes, oh, I'll teach you.
Nice.
Come on, how are you going to teach me to sail? So I'm like, this guy's my friend. So he goes, well, I have a boat, like a like a little boat. Like what do you mean? Come to find, he has a 34-foot sailboat,
Wow.
and next thing you know, we start sailing, and he's like a member of yacht club, this at Catalina, and I mean, dude, you never told me this.
The door's open, right?
The
It's like
doors
I'm thinking
open.
the reticular activating system at work, right? It's like you start, start talking about it, start thinking about it, making the commitment, and all of a sudden, like this starts to appear in like,
Yeah.
in places you never saw before, right? And so, oh wow, that's
So
amazing.
people will tell you don't talk about what you're doing or what you're up to, and I would say like maybe that depends, but in general, maybe that depends for, you not getting negative reactions or
Mm.
anything to kind of throw you
Hmm.
off your course. But, I'll talk like I was telling someone at a place uh, that I was going to like, hey, I do these big events, and I just, I just want to create my own alcohol.
Yeah.
And like that, and I go and I'm talking to a guy about it, and he goes, really? And I'm like, yeah, because listen, I'm like, this is because it fits our brand. Like we are already doing it. And I said, but I don't know. It's kind of crazy out there in terms of how to be able to go about it because it's so difficult, with
Yeah.
with any alcohol brand or anything of that nature. And next thing you know, he goes, here, let me connect you a couple people. So
Yeah.
he connects me to a brewmaster or whatever, and that kind of like scientist, kind of like brewman, puts me with a company that then starts like, man, it's a brilliant idea. Like let's.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I'm pre-selling, and they're like, whoa, you got to talk to these people first, and then come back because I know we. This is just sampling. So now, just finalizing my license, and
Right.
then on to that connection piece again. Chef Jamie Gwynn
Yeah.
is a big chef, and a lot of celebrity chefs that are in that bubble, that James Beard bubble. Uh, and along with another friend that asked me to do the Relish, which is coming up here in Newport Beach, and
Cool.
it's a Newport Beach Food and Wine Festival. And
Wow.
so, yeah, and they want us to launch the alcohol and everything else. So, so those are all connections. A lot of these things are just friends. Um, they'll reach out, and if I'm on television for something, we just was on a new Netflix show, and it's just friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, like, you want to do a show? I'm like, sure. It's just friends.
Yeah.
But
That's
Yeah.
well, something I want to drive home though, and it's like a through line that you've created all the way through here. It's like the attitude, right? Going back to the identity is why not? Right?
yeah.
Why not?
Hmm.
Sure. Yes. Sharing, having the vision. There's no holding back. Like that's what I see for
Hmm.
you is that all this
Yeah.
opportunity continues to open it up to you because you're not walking around with this mask covering, right? You're very authentic, you're very honest, you're very approachable and open, and you're you don't have, a lot of people have those beliefs, right? The subconscious beliefs holding them back for the fear of judgment. For you, you are just a true, genuine guy. You're like, this is what's on my heart. I want to learn to
Yeah,
sail. I love to start.
this is
Like
possible. Yeah,
you're because you're operating from that place of it's possible. And why not? And like that, like if
yeah,
listener, if you're hearing, like, if there's one thing that you take away, I think just walking around with that shift of like this why not attitude. Like
yeah,
that's what happened. People said to me, why you moved to Panama? Well, why not? Right? Why not? Because it it changes the trajectory when you
yeah,
lean in with that, right? And so you're like, why not? Want to like for sure, sure, why not? Like, yes, right? It's just it's a different way in terms of your energy and your
yeah,
beingness, how you show up, and then how people see you, right? It's like, I've got an idea. I'm going to go to Lawrence because Lawrence has got some great ideas and he's the guy that's going to be up for this,
yeah.
right? Like we can walk around with this
Uh-huh.
belief that we've got some crazy ideas, or it's like, I got some great ideas.
Mhm.
I've got some life-changing ideas. I've got ideas that are really going to like impact the world positively,
Mhm.
right? And so just that you're I sense it from you. There's no holding back for you, right? You're very
Yeah.
free and you're very honest and you're very open. And because of that, you've built powerful relationships
Mhm.
and people can trust you and they rely on you. And you've got that community around you that's supporting with what you're creating. So to go back even my question earlier about the talking to the teenagers in our next generation,
Yeah.
not just our next generation, but everybody listening to today, like we should make those shifts, and all of a sudden we're creating that such a more
Yeah.
positive ripple effect around in our community, the people around us.
I
So
thought I thought Alex
Absolutely.
Leanne, he brought up an important point of view too, like when you are doing something new, when you who you're declaring it to. So
mhm.
because of those connections that you fostered and develop, it's not just like, hi, I'm Sam at the networking event. You're building relationships
Yes.
with people.
Yeah.
And so then you know who's trusted that you can go to and say, hey, I'm thinking about, they're not going to be that negative Nelly in your ear
Mhm.
going, oh, that's not possible. That's too risky. That can't be done.
Yeah.
Because I've certainly experienced that. And they're able to say, oh, by the way, I have a boat, or oh, yeah, I can help you develop the alcohol that you want to create. And so it's like taking a step by step. It's
Mhm.
first your internal belief and declaration, then who you trust to take that to, and then as you take the steps forward, the baby steps that are really simple, then the doors open for you to be
Yeah.
able to present it to the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, that's it 100%. Just ask what if,
Yeah, yeah.
and
What if? Why not?
and why
Yeah.
not? Yeah, yeah. And life is an adventure, right? And
Mhm.
it's just up to you to kind of carve your own path.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. Don't just look at it as, like in my particular case, like I said, I was standing there in high school going like, what? Doesn't any like black kids like swim? Why? I don't understand. Huh. Okay. I guess I'll be the first. You know, I mean, literally, that was my thought.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Differentiating. Talk to us about, Alex Leanne, go ahead if you have another question. I don't want to interrupt you, but talk to us about Teably.
Yeah. So Teably is the iced tea form of one of the iterations of the brand. And so that so what I started doing in terms of building the brand and figuring out how to be able to scale it up and for things to be housed in their own like little categories. I realized that tea in itself is the disruptor as to
Mhm.
what I'm doing. And how we tell our story is through our events, through our, the like the core tea that we sell, and our association with some of these amazing high level brands of hospitality and whatnot. And that is our story. That's how we tell our story. And from there, we're able to scale up, all of the many dimensions of the brand, from, like you were saying, like from the Teably to, to our NXL to a number of other,
Yeah, what's an
with the
Excel?
alcohol,
Yeah. Will it fix
no,
will it
alcohol.
enhance my brain? That's what.
Well, I'm curious, where did this
It,
come from? Like the idea of creating tea, right? And like
Mhm.
I'm just really curious for that idea. Like what was the inspiration behind that of like creating your own, Charles and Company brand and then to create this luxury tea?
Yeah, I wanted to create a brand that kind of represented almost like a beautiful high fashion kind of approach to kind of give an aspiration. So for me, tea does a couple of different things. It allows me the ability to um just like quiet everything around me from the bills
Mm.
to the traffic, the cars honking, the news, um the kids screaming, whatever. It allows me to quiet everything down. And then, that in itself is is a bit of a getaway
Yeah.
in a sense.
Yeah. I
So
totally see it.
whether that's solace just with yourself or with friends, it's still
Yeah.
like it's this bit of a getaway. So if you stay within that framework and you stack onto that, then what else is aspirational? And so it's the beauty of the idea of
Yeah.
the polo and these high-end engagements and you would think images of people doing well and some celebrities and whatnot. Like those are different aspirational type elements that
Mm.
we wanted to apply. And then in terms of how we went about building our product out, we looked at what can we um use to like help folks with RT in different ways. And, so that went from, us, um, starting to develop, some skincare, starting to develop,
Mm.
our alcohol, Mansion Party by Charles and Company is our alcohol, because we seem to either be a part of or throw these amazing mansion parties. And,
I think it's
and as
Ty
fun as
Lopez
that,
immediately.
hey,
Shout out, Ty. Yeah.
hey, and so that bridges together our story, but also enables us to sell within uh, our same thematic kind of approach, this aspirational approach. So,
Yeah.
um, and with some things we can have a little bit more fun with and be more, have more satire. With others, it's just more high touch and, you know, um, my brother, he jokes about how is this black tie kind of just this regal kind of thing,
Yeah.
and how silly and goofy I am, and how that the difference of the two is pretty hilarious. But yeah, that we is are one of the only brands associated with British royalty and whatnot. And in being in a position that we've been in, um, sometimes we get bites at the apple that are way too big, and we have to go, wait, okay, we're not able to do that right now, but we'll meet you there soon enough. And so there's opportunity that actually can get handed off, that you have to be, a realist in understanding that, okay, we got to make sure that capital aligns with
Mm.
that opportunity before
Yeah.
we go down that path. So,
Yeah.
so some of it is you just understanding that. One thing that I do want to mention is in terms of entrepreneurship and how important I think entrepreneurship is in general. A lot of people think they look at things as being instant, things as
Mhm.
being, overnight successes and how exciting that is, just to, as soon as I start, heck, in a month or two, I'm going to be rich or something of that nature. And
Yeah.
usually overnight successes are 10 years in the making. And then you also, have to understand that there are some really interesting components to when you learn about business. You're essentially learning about yourself.
Yeah.
And business in itself is, I like to say, it's the greatest form of self-development that you could possibly ever have.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't
Yes.
buy it,
I'm right there
you
with
know,
you. Yeah. It's
you
so
can't
true.
buy it.
I know
No.
you are too, Alex.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It's its own school in itself, right? It's like, right,
Yeah.
the amount of learning and trial and error and yeah, experience like experimenting and the relationship development and yeah, it's a fascinating journey and it is like it's entrepreneurial school. It's its own thing.
It's interesting to note too,
Absolutely.
you mentioned looking at the numbers and also 97% of businesses, at least this was a statistic last time I looked, fail within a 10-year period. It often
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
being committed to the long game, being
Yeah.
committed to seeing the vision, trusting the process, continuing on the journey, even when we feel like giving up, and
Mhm.
um, seeing
You
seeing the
you just define
success.
failure. You just define failure and just what you're starting to say.
Yeah,
You just define it as a couple different things, right? Like
yeah,
failure is just don't give up. Stay in line.
yeah,
Stay in line with your lunch tray. You'll get served.
yeah.
Like don't
With your lunch tray. I love
because
that.
97% of people give up.
Yes.
Yeah. Stay the course, right? Stay the course. Like,
Yeah.
right? When you stay the course, yes, things might happen. I mean, we recorded a couple weeks ago this episode on like it is done, but it is done. If you already see and forecast the
Yeah.
success, you trust the process, you stay this course. And yeah, fail is the first attempt in learning. And the only way you're gonna learn is by taking that action, right? So
Mhm.
I love that the visual of staying in the staying in line with your
With
lunch
the
tray.
lunch tray, you're going to get
Stay
served.
committed,
Yeah.
stay
I
committed.
love that. I'm going to keep that one.
Absolutely.
So, Lawrence, as we're
Absolutely.
wrapping up here today, I'm curious for you, like when you think of being unleashed and unstoppable, what comes to mind for you for our listener today as we wrap up?
Oh man, unstoppable for myself or unstoppable for the listeners or unstoppable in general.
All of the above.
Yeah.
All the above. Yeah. So so I think of unstoppable is I think it's something within your character as well. Because in the lean times you got to keep going.
Yeah.
And in times in which are the times that you're extremely successful, um, you have to not get intoxicated and have
Mm,
King's disease.
Mm.
You have to be able to be sober and continue to in all your efforts make a difference. Be kind to human beings. Being unstoppable is just you at the cashier's counter and just saying, how's how are you? How is your day?
mm,
And literally looking that person in their eye, and you'll be surprised. They'll look back at you, and then they'll tell you exactly how their day is. And being unstoppable is being able to take that same energy, that same thing that came back from that cashier, and being able to utilize that and apply it to your day, because you cared. That's
Yeah.
being unstoppable.
mm,
Everything else will take care of itself. Success,
mm.
things of that nature, just because every day is important. We only get so many summers in a lifetime. You could count them. Every day is important. Enjoy, appreciate, work your tail off, and and just be present.
Mm.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Yeah, it's super, super powerful to, talk to somebody who is operating at the level that you're operating at and to see, the framework, the success clues, the steps that we all can follow, no matter who we are, no matter where we are, no matter where we came from, no matter what we've gone through, that will enable us to live bold, beautiful, abundant, heart-centered, aligned, fulfilling, satisfying lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been really wonderful to have you.
Thank
Anything else?
you. It's
Sorry,
absolute pleasure.
I just want to know
Oh,
if where the listener can connect with you, if they want to connect with you, learn more, maybe order some of your tea and try it out, or even your alcohol line. What's the best way for them to reach you?
yeah, you can reach out to me at Lawrence, Lawrence, at cnctea.com. And I'm on Instagram. Uh, Charles and Company is Charles X Company. And I am Lawrence Charles.
Yeah. Yay. We'll have those in the show notes too. And so I'm so excited that you've been here, Alex is. We both are. We're super excited that you have come in and dropped your wisdom. And, we look
Thank you.
forward to connecting with you and having some of this amazing tea.
Absolutely, absolutely. I hope to be able to continue to hopefully inspire and hopefully grow and do a lot more. So
Yeah,
yeah, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
you are so
Amazing.
welcome.
And listener, remember, you're not here to follow the rules. You're here to rewrite them with beliefs, boldness, and wealth that aligns. And your website, it should reflect that because your expertise changes lives and it's time that more people knew it. Until next time, listener, stay unleashed and unstoppable.
That's
Bye.
right. And, keep connecting with us, keep watching, keep following the show notes. We're going to bring you high, high value. If you're interested in moving forward and closing the gap in your wealth journey, reach out to me. I would love to see you jump over the edge. And the work I do is 100% guaranteed. So see you next week. Ciao.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Unleashed Unstoppable podcast with your hosts, Alexandra Carter and Carol Register.
If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review and subscribe.
That's all for this episode, Wildly Ambitious Leaders. See you next week.